Today, I want to have a conversation about the lack of support that sometimes employees feel in their place of employment at their workplace. Recently, I've noticed that my inbox has been overflowing with messages from professionals who have been feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and unsure of themselves as professionals. And one of the key things that I've seen is a lack of support by their leaders, by their team managers, by their directors. In my work with the two anthologies that I've authored, Everyday Struggle, How Toxic Workspaces Impact Black Women, and also Shut Them Down, Black Women, Racism, and Corporate America, a common theme that all of the women shared was a lack of support by management, by leadership. So what does support look like? Let's start there. The definition of support means, and I'm going to pull out my notes, support means to give assistance. It's to enable you to function or to act. So that is what the definition of support is that you are going to be given some assistance. It means that you are going to be given probably the tools that you need or the motivation, the encouragement, a professional development plan that you need that is going to enable you to function and or to act. Also could be a well-written job description. You know what you're supposed to be doing. But a lot of times, what we are seeing is that does not take place. The great resignation is really showing us that right now is that a lot of people have left jobs and they are leaving jobs because they feel that they have not been supported in the roles that they were hired to do. So, what does support look like? Support looks like your boss or your supervisor, your team leader actually being there for you in intense moments or adverse moments. So let's say that you're in a meeting and you have a coworker who challenges you, or you have a coworker who might make some microaggressive comments, and you're not left to defend yourself by yourself. This is where your leader, your team manager is going to step in, and they are either going to support you or they are going to step in completely and diffuse the situation. But they're not going to leave you out there by yourself. Another way that we see support in the workforce is when we are working on a project or we come up with an idea and we are given credit for that. We are given credit for the input that we make in the job that we do, how we work as a team player. So that means that no one is running off and stealing your ideas or taking credit for what it is that you're doing, but you're actually being pushed out into the forefront. And your boss is saying, hey, this is my team player, and they're on it. This was their great idea. Everyone is coming together to support you. Support also looks like you being given some feedback on how you are doing towards specific projects. It means that your boss is meeting with you on a consistent basis, that you're being brought up to speed as to what needs to take place, what your duties are going to be, what is being required of you. You're being given feedback on what it is that you've been doing. You're also being given praise for those things that you were doing well. It means that you have a professional development plan in place that you all are going over regularly. It means that support will look like your boss motivating you and pushing you outside of your boundaries. They're pushing you to do better, they're pushing you to be greater. Now, what we've seen is that when you don't have this type of support in place, you're left feeling overwhelmed. You might be all over the place, not really sure what it is that you're supposed to be doing or how you're supposed to be doing it. You might even second guess yourself and your capabilities. You know, imposter syndrome, that's real. I've had one client to contact me And her lack of support was so bad. This was during the Christmas holidays, and she was the store manager, that her immediate supervisor was not understanding her need to bring in more people to work because it was the Christmas holidays. And so it left her feeling overwhelmed. She was also tired and stressed out because that meant she had to work those extra hours. And I remember her saying, Dr. Carey, I am just so frustrated. I'm ready to go back to the registrar's office at my old university and ask for a refund on both of these degrees, my bachelor's and my master's, because I am not seeing a return on investment. Her frustration got so bad that she quit. And that's when we began to walk through what were her next steps going to be. And I was there to help her to find clarity. So I say that to say this is that we all need professional empowerment. That if we are going to be our best, if we're going to be the best employee, even if we're going to be the best leader, at some point we need professional empowerment. What are the four key elements of professional empowerment? Well, the first one is support, which I went over today. The next one is validation. Then there's clarity. And lastly, you need a roadmap. So, over the next 4 days, I'm going to go over each of those four key elements that you need for professional development, for professional empowerment. So, today we went over support. Tomorrow, I will be going over validation. Videos are going to post around 7 a.m. Central Time. So make sure that you have set your alerts and you're following me here on LinkedIn so that you can be notified when my next video is actually posted on LinkedIn. Now, if you've heard the definition of support and you realize, Dr. Carey, I'm lacking support in my current job. I am lacking support from my management team and I am feeling overwhelmed. I need some help. Well, a service that I offer that I really don't talk about a lot is professional empowerment coaching. So, what is that? Well, we go over those four key elements, but we put them in action. So, you feel supported because you have a safe space to come in and talk about what is going on with you. In that safe space, you have a designated time. So you know when your meetings with me are going to take place. You also have the opportunity to be validated. And so I remind you of why you are the great employer that you are, why you are this fabulous professional. We build on your skills and talents, and we take those and find clarity in what it is that you do and how you do it. And maybe even look at some different career paths that you might need to take versus the one that you are on. And then lastly, we go over a roadmap. We don't just go over it, we develop it. Then we go over it and we implement it. And we make sure that you are on the right track to that fulfilling career that you desire as a professional. So, if all of this sounds interesting to you, this is where you can learn more. Visit my website, drcarrieIZ.com. Go to the tab that says Work with Me, click it, scroll down to the bottom, and you will see the option to sign up to work with me for professional empowerment coaching. Yeah. So I hope that today's tip has helped, and I look forward to coming back in tomorrow and talking to you about the second key element, which is validation.